So I get this a lot. What are you building? They come into the chat. I just had it right now. What are you building? Sir, what are you building? And the thing is, when you have a idea, the first thing is not what are you building? Yes, of course, you could say, well, it's a community of like-minded, high IQ individuals that are coming together around AI and discussing AI and entrepreneurship and soulpreneurship, and we're all kind of the same people, or we have vibe coders or whatever. Yes, I could say that. That's an interesting way to start, but really is before you even ask that question, the best way is, I wonder what he's building. I wonder what he's building. Because essentially, you're not being told what it is. So you have the product, you see the product, and you go, huh, what is he building? What is this product? What is this product? But instead, you should say, let me guess, let me see, let me understand it. Because if I say what it is immediately, there's no feelings invoked. There's no curiosity invoked. I told you what it is. What is that? Oh, that's a fan. Or you could say, actually, this is something that cools you down when it gets really hot. I can imagine that. So really, when people ask that, they're not using their imagination. They're not imagining what it is. The biggest thing about imagination and ideas, they go hand in hand. It's a circular loop. It's a circular loop. It just goes around and around. And the only way that you can get to better ideas, if you imagine, if you sit in silence. I've talked about this before. If you sit in silence, if you are humble and you say, I don't know what it is, what are you building? Yes, that's an easy way to say it. What is the product? What do I see right now? Instead, say, I watch Matt Miller, the guy, Bridgemind Bridge Voice, okay? I understand that his idea is not my idea. I understand that. He's making money from it. I personally don't know if SaaS is the best way to vibe code, but he's very successful around it, so I can't take away his flowers. I actually really like listening to him. The reason I like listening to him is because I get good ideas and my imagination starts skyrocketing. Because he'll come up with, he'll find a problem or face a problem. Last week, it was, hey, listen, I've been doing it for a while. We stagnated. The monthly recurring revenue has kind of went down, and then it just plateaued. Ironically enough, he's up about 17,000 since that time. He's gotten a lot of memberships, and he's doing very good at marketing. But I actually put myself in his shoes. So you have to be humble. You have to sit in silence. You have to imagine the idea. Okay, so the idea was in 180 days. It's a weird way to write it. 180 days. Where am I going to be when Matt Miller was talking about, hey, listen, we used to be going like this, and now we stagnated, and we actually started to go to stagnate again in his monthly recurring revenue. I said, well, in 180 days, not only do I know I'm going to be there, maybe not at his MRR, but I'm going to be there in my community, and I don't want to face that problem. I could be in his chat and say, hey, listen, what are you building? Oh, you're actually looking at it right now, and he explains it, and he's very well at that. However, I look at that and I say, he ran into a problem in 180 days. That actually might happen to me. That might happen to me. Okay, now I got to go back to silence. I have the idea that in 180 days, I'm probably going to be where Matt Miller is. Okay, now I got to imagine myself in there. Okay, I have an idea that I need to come to, and I need to have a planning session because that is going to be me. Matt is coming into a problem. I'm saying this because you have to be curious about the world. You have to be curious. Curious is everything. You have to be like, how can this be better? How can this be more efficient? How can this be cheaper? What's his name talks about it all the time. First principles. Elon Musk talks about it. First principles. Okay. How can I create an electric vehicle? Okay. Well, we don't have mass battery anywhere being produced. Okay. I got to produce that. Okay. The batteries overheat. The batteries are heavy. Well, we kind of don't need an engine that big, and we don't need it to be so many different parts like a regular mechanical car. It could be a lot less car, and then you can have a lot more storage, and then you can make it beautiful. He went to first principles. He was very curious with his imagination and his ideas, and I guarantee he was very humble. Why? Because he failed a lot. For years, a lot for years. So you have to be humble because you will fail. You will fail. This is it. You will. So when someone says, what are you building? The number one thing that I don't come back and say is exactly what I'm building. Because I don't know, and it's going to sound offensive, I don't know if that person is right for this community. I don't know if that person's right for this community. What are you building is not the first thing. The first thing is you have to be curious with your imagination about what you're actually seeing right now. What is Charles building? What is this? There's 10 people watching. He's got 10,000 subscribers. He's talking about a community. He has it on the screen. I wonder what that is, okay? You have to be humble. You have to be willing to ask questions. Questions are the only way. I heard it from Tony Robbins many years. He said, the salesperson who asks the most questions or the highest quality questions wins. That's the best salesperson. And I'm like, no, it's the person that just makes statements. They don't ask questions. They don't ask questions. They say statements. They say facts. No, they don't actually. Because they're curious about what your problem is. They sit in silence, listen to you, they're humble, and then they ask questions. Oh, you have a home that you want to sell. Is there a timeline that you're looking to sell this by? Is there a price range in which you want to sell this within? Is there any other decision makers that I need to be talking to? These are questions as a real estate agent I had to ask the owner before we put their home on the market. Questions are the only way. They are the ones making statements, okay? Curious people ask questions. They're willing to fail. I wanted this out of me because high quality questions formed correctly changed my life. It literally changed my life. My life is totally different by asking high quality questions, by being humble, sitting in silence, willing to fail, pivoting, seeing that there's a problem in someone else's life. And I go, how does that apply to me? How does that apply to me? Well, I got to get into a planning session. I need a whiteboard. I need a brainstorming session, actually. And then I got insanely curious about my problems and I pivoted. I pivoted away from putting the videos on my computer. Now it's going on Cloudflare. I pivoted away from the value is in the community and the value is actually the community plus the videos. I got to be making content. I need YouTube, big YouTube content library in the iCharles and in my personal YouTube channel. Those are big pivots. Okay, what do I need to do? Insanely curious, sitting in silence, humble, willing to fail, planning session. So the product, through ideas and imaginations, go back to first principle, and there's value. Value, thinking, planning, there's an equal sign between them. So I know this is a shorter video, but it's very important when it comes to thinking. You have to think through humbleness, curiosity, or else no ideas come. No ideas come. There's no questions that are answered. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.